Folks here in Quincy might be aware that the medical marijuana dispensary up on Raschuti Drive in West Quincy is coming under new ownership. A company called MariMed will be purchasing the facility and then also offering adult use cannabis, or as we know here in Massachusetts, recreational marijuana. And the president and CEO of MariMed, John Levine, is joining us virtually today to tell us a little bit about himself, about the company, about what's going to be happening in Quincy. So, Mr. Levine, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you having us on the show today.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. When this first came across my desk, it was the first that I had learned that the Airmont Corporation, the medical dispensary, was in some financial difficulty and coming under new ownership. I hadn't realized that before. So tell us a little bit, if you can, about that story.
Sure. I mean, Airmont was put into receivership. They had some financial obligations that just grew out of control. And they kept the operation running for the last couple of years under receivership. We got involved with negotiations almost a year ago, and it took us quite a while to be able to dig through and figure everything out, what was there. But we were happy that we were able to negotiate a deal to come in and save that dispensary license in that location. And we met with the city, who was very supportive and wanting to keep the location in that area. And I think it's a very good area. It's not it's medical only at the present time. We're hopeful in the near future to be able to get our adult use application processed and approved by the state CCC board. But for the beginning, we're going to take it over and relaunch the Airmont under our brand name, which is Panacea Wellness. Our division that bought it is ARL Healthcare out of New Bedford, is our grow and processing facility. And we're going to bring new and exciting medicines to the medical patients of Massachusetts in the Quincy area. And we're very excited about being able to support them. Along with that, we're going to add our delivery service with our partnership with Little Dog Delivery, who can then also bring patients the medicines that they need.
So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and about the company.
Sure. Myself, I am a Massachusetts resident my whole life. I grew up in Needham. I went to college at Curry College with you and graduated from there. I lived in Canton, Mass for several years, presently in Dover. But my partner, Bob Fireman, who just passed away this past December, him and I got into the cannabis business back in 2008 in the Wild West of California. But we've concentrated on growing, mostly started as an advisory service, and then we grew into the plant touching company we are today under MariMed. But we started out fully in the medical industry, helping the patients that really understood how this medicine can help with many different issues in their lives. We're really dedicated, this company, to helping patients every day through the use of our products and make them have a better life. Our employees are all dedicated to that same motto, and we really are concentrating on that still. Even with adult use, we still believe that there's a lot of benefits that help everybody through the use of cannabis. Born and raised in Massachusetts, my partner, Bob, was also born and raised. The Fireman family, I'm sure many people remember Reebok. That was Bob's cousin. But Bob and I started this business. We tried to get into Massachusetts back when Airmont won their first license. And we didn't make the first round, but we got the license in 2018, finally got our facility built out in New Bedford. And we were able to save 60 jobs for our tenant next door. And that was the reason that we were able to get the building. The city was very happy that we were coming in to save that business, but also to bring them another 120 jobs to the area. So we're all about supporting the local community, knowing Massachusetts. When we saw this opportunity of Quincy, I got really excited because I know the Quincy market, I know the area, and I just think it's great because that area really has a lot of population that really would benefit from the cannabis use for medical use. There's not a lot of medical dispensaries around that area. So I think this is a great opportunity to bring patients of that area the proper medicines that they need.
So do you intend to keep medical use in addition to adult use at Panacea Wellness?
Absolutely. Medical is always going to be part of our program. We're very fortunate. We have a medical and adult use license in Middleborough, Mass, under the Panacea Wellness. We just got the adult use license that we waiting just for the state to approve up in Beverly, Mass. So this is a perfect middle point between those two to give us the ability to cover the whole Boston, north and south. Now, if the state would increase the number of licenses we could have, maybe we could get out to the west. But unfortunately, the state limits on how many licenses you may have, and we're at our cap, except for one more medical use, which we're working with the city of Beverly to get a license up there. But we'll be able to go from the North Shore to the south, offer delivery service, and also bring both medical and rec to all people. So I apologize. Adult use, you can only get delivery where you're able to receive adult use services in the state.
Okay. Where is MariMed actually? Where is your headquarters located?
Our headquarters is right here in Norwood, Mass.
Oh, okay. And do you have separate employees there at headquarters as well as the dispensaries?
No, we have no dispensary here in Norwood. We did not have a license or at this location. Our corporate headquarters for worldwide operations is here, but we have our operations, like I said, down in New Bedford, and we have the locations throughout several other states. We're in Illinois. We're moving into Ohio and Missouri. We're in Maryland, and we manage a facility in Delaware.
Yeah, I was curious about the medicinal use, if you saw a future for that, given the fact that now you don't need a prescription.
Well, I think that the reason that medical will always be there is, especially in the state of Massachusetts and others like Delaware, Rhode Island, and Maryland, they're keeping their medical programs, and the patients don't have to pay taxes. The tax rate on cannabis is very high, such as Massachusetts is at 20%. So it's unfortunate, but to get your medical license, you can save 20% tax rate because in Massachusetts, medicine is untaxable, which I think is a great opportunity for people to really get as much cannabis as they need for medical purposes. I mean, yes, there are people that are going to use it for recreational needs, but I think that there's also a lot of patients that have jobs or situations where they don't want to get their medical card and don't get the medicine because of the fact that it was a medical only program, that they're able to purchase it openly, and they don't want people knowing that they're taking it. There's a lot of different needs in this community that people need to get this medicine, and it is a medicine, even though it can be a recreational medicine, but it's a very safe product, and we're very excited to be bringing it to the area.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit, John, about your employees, the folks who will be at the dispensary, and the kind of training that they have to go through in order to qualify to be dispensary employees?
Sure. I mean, we're first of all maintaining all the current employees that are with Ermont. We've hired every single one of them, and we're happy to be bringing them onto our staff. We are going to be retraining them on our processes, procedures, but that will also include the ongoing training on cannabis and what cannabis is about. So we have people that come in, we will train them on how the different medicines can help and what the different uses are for. But mostly you have to go through a full state background check, which includes a criminal and drug tests, and every state's a little bit different, where Massachusetts has a little bit less standards, but everybody has to go through a background check, and you have to be checked every year. So you have to renew this license. But we have ongoing training, not just of customer service, but of cannabis. We try to train our whole staff from the top to the bottom so that we all understand what cannabis use does and how it works.
Right. That's what I was questioning about, is when you have a prescription, obviously a doctor is saying, the exact type and dosage and frequency and what have you. But for a recreational customer or adult use customer, how do you train your folks to give them the proper product?
It's getting them to understand, to ask the questions about what the patient or customer is looking for an experience. And there's different strains that have different effects. We have our Betty's Eddies, which has FX effects, so that we have a sleep time aid. We have a energy drink mix. So we have different products for different needs. And that's really where the communication is, and education comes from from our bud tenders to the customers.
Mm-hmm. So will there be any changes to the facility itself, the complex itself up there in Rusciuti Drive?
Absolutely. The good news is that we're hopeful to be able to get our approval. I've heard that we are hopeful to get onto the March 9th hearing, and that we would like to open on March 10th as Panacea Wellness. So Panacea Wellness would be the name of the dispensary on that day. You'll see some changes to the systems, but really very little at the beginning. We'll be expanding the dispensary, making it a much bigger dispensary, giving it more room, not just for comfort and feel, but so that we can handle a larger crowd. When you get the adult use, there's a separation of adult counter versus a medical counter, but we'll make it a comfortable area that's very welcoming, but also the convenience to come in and get out quickly if you choose, or come in and get a education on the new products or the new strains that are out on the market and what they can benefit from. So it's part of that education process, but we're hopeful to be able to start that at the end of next week or this week, and move that forward as soon as the state gives us the authorization.
So we'll actually be adding on to the building, or taking over existing properties?
We're taking over the whole building that the Ermont already had. They have grow rooms that they were using there. We're going to take a grow room away from the grow area to expand the retail store, but we're going to use that grow area not for growing full flower, but for doing our R&D on new strains and what we call pheno hunting in the industry, where we put plants in from seed and we find the ones that are really strong and bountiful and that give the best results for what we're looking for. And then we can also take two strains and mix them together to get better results. So it becomes an R&D in the back house of that property.
Okay, so you won't actually be growing product there?
Not product that we'll be using to sell right away. It will be product that we'll be doing research for, and then moving it down to our New Bedford facility to grow it out and bring it back to the retail store as a new product for customers to be able to get the benefits of that.
What about the actual name Panacea Wellness? What's the story behind that?
The goddess of wellness is Panacea.
Huh.
So it's a great story. I would recommend everybody look it up online. I don't know all the details of the goddess, but it's all about wellness and being able to cure.
There are, as I understand, 2 host community agreements with the city of Quincy. Could you explain those, John?
Yeah, the Ermont has a adult and a medical host agreement with the city of Quincy. They have never acted on activating their adult use host agreement. When we went and met with the mayor's office, and they gave us the right to transfer those host agreements to ARL Healthcare, we have since started the application process to get approval to bring adult use to that location with that host agreement, which gives a 3% fee back to the city from the revenues that are generated.
Okay, I know there is another adult use dispensary pending on the other side of the city. So do you think there's a market for both?
Absolutely. We can definitely handle sharing the customer base. They're on a different part of the city. It's more about what the people are going to find for an inventory selection and convenience. I do know that they got their approval last week, so they're waiting for their final inspection, which I hope they get, and I wish them good luck. But there's always room for competition. We'd like to make sure that we're kept in check and that we always offer our customers the best service, best quality product, and get them to come back because they know that we're always going to be there for them to support them in any way possible.
Is there going to be kind of a public ribbon cutting, if you will, or grand opening?
Yeah, we're going to have on the 10th, we'll have a ribbon cutting with Making It Panacea. And we're working on a date for a real grand opening where we'll have some celebrations and some additional items for the medical patients. And then when we get the adult use, we'll have a larger ribbon cutting and celebration at that time.
Will you be hiring, John? Do you need any more help at your new dispensary?
Day one, we will be hiring maybe 2-3 additional employees as we open the facility back up and expand it, get the adult use. Yes, we will be hiring quite a few people with adult use.
Okay, and looking to the local market, I'm assuming?
100%. We'll be having job fairs in the community, and we always welcome anybody from the community to always put their application in. We support locals 100% at all of our facilities.
I'm curious, when
we're a national company, we also offer our ability to help our employees grow and be able to grow within the corporation, including moving to other states.
Right. To me, at least, the approval process seemed pretty quick for you. Is that because it's an existing facility?
I wouldn't say this was quick.
Really? Okay.
We've been waiting for several months. We had to wait for several things before we could make the announcement because of the receivership court and everything else. We finally got approval from all councils that we could to put out the press release that we were going through with this. And like I said, we're still hopeful that we get on the agenda for the 9th and that we get the approval then and that we can open on the 10th. If there is some type of a bump, then we would have to reschedule to the following month when the state would meet again. They only meet once a month. So yeah, we've been crossing our fingers to get this approved for I'd say several months now. And it's just, it doesn't go as quick as you think.
Sure. Anything else you'd like to let folks here in Quincy know about right now about Panacea Wellness?
We're happy to be joining the Quincy community. We're here to support the community and add to the community, not to be a hindrance or a burden. We're a real partner. I'm a local. I want to keep it as a local feel, family-run business. And I have a whole bunch of family, which are my employees. They may not be my true family, but they honestly feel like it because I grew up in Massachusetts where it's always been a tradition that you keep your family close.
I appreciate the opportunity to learn about your organization and wish you very good luck in the future. We'll try and be there at the ribbon cutting.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.